Are you ready for 2023? Here's your energy forecast to help you prepare for what's coming. So 2023 brings us a lot of energy around self-reflection and growth. The issue I feel like with this right now is that we're really in a culture of fear. So the dialogue that we're hearing around us, the storyline of fear is everywhere. And you can decide not to prescribe to that dialogue and you can move away from it. And I feel like that's going to be really important this year because we're in this time of self-reflection. So we're asking a lot of questions. And it's important that you maintain your curiosity around those questions because if we delve in too deep, and what I mean by that is there are a lot of things that are happening all around us all the time, and it's good to be aware. But when you actually engage your energy in things that are completely out of your control and that you don't have the control to really shift or change, you kind of lose a little bit of your steam. It's like giving away your energy to something that you're not going to get anything back in return. So we know in this world, there's many things that we disagree with. There's many things we don't like. 2023 is going to throw a lot of stuff at us. And it's going to be your job to discern and decide what you want to engage your energy in and create that reality. You have to remember, as we talked about many times, there is many versions of the truth. There's many realities. So I have kind of adopted this mantra when I'm like, dealing with all this dialogue around fear and all these events and media. And I kind of keep saying, that's not my reality. Because there are some things that are happening that you can engage in and you can do something about. But what I've realized is that we have a desire to move forward, and it's like a driving desire if you're meant to do something about the wrongs that are all around you. So we have this drive and this pull and this almost like annoying voice in our head that says you have to do something about this. And it doesn't stop, it just keeps at you. That's when you know that there's a pull, and it's a pull for your soul to do something that's on your soul path. But something may pop up in your awareness and it's not really for you. And this is where discernment has to step in here. You have to be in a place of observing, curiosity, almost like, what's happening there? Why does it make me feel that way? Why do I engage? Or is this something I can do something about? Is this something that's in my control? And there is a piece to this beautiful surrender to the process, to the journey, to the path. And we've all heard that saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So this is about you really saying to yourself, I need to process through what's happening to me. Why do I feel this way when I see that news story, or when I see that somebody has been wronged, or I see that there's been some top-down control that's really affected me? And you really have to process through these feelings because on a human level, many of us are very deeply empathetic, or we're empaths, or we're highly sensitive people. So when you are connecting yourself to all these energies, it's almost like you're plugged into so many electrical outlets that there's not enough energy left for the things you are supposed to face on your soul path. So I want you to think about what you're plugging your energy into right now. There's many versions of the truth, and we're going to have I think there's still left some surprising truth to come forward for 2023, some establishments that are going to be turned on their head. But does this involve you? Does this directly involve you? Because on top of all this stuff that's going on around us is like a storm, okay? So all these things are blowing around. If you know what it's like in a storm, if there's things that are loose objects, what happens to them? They blow around and they get caught up in the winds, the erratic, nature of a storm swirling around. What happens if something is anchored properly during a storm? It doesn't move. So that's what I want you to think of yourself as, somebody that is anchored. You can even put yourself in the eye of the storm if you want to and just stay there, but just anchor yourself with your belief, your values. And a lot of our belief systems have been shook up, and that's because of this massive shift in consciousness that is happening in this year of 2023. So you are going to be thinking, I used to be able to figure out what my path was and now I can't. You are going to be thinking, I used to make decisions easily. I used to be able to, process through pros and cons and decide what's best for me. And now it's so hard. Or I used to be able to trust my intuition and I feel like it's changed. Yes, it's changed. And now we have to recalibrate for this new energy. And the new energy is not necessarily about what's practical and logical and analytical. The new energy is a divine, high vibrational energy that comes more from the heart than from the head. So we have to drop into our heart and ask ourselves, what is right for me? Whether it seems illogical or impractical in a human sense, the divine doesn't care about that. They don't care whether it's impractical. They just want you to follow your path. So people that know that they are on a spiritual journey and know that they're supposed to be following some kind of spiritual path, if they have not made efforts or steps towards that, this is the time the universe is going to kind of slam you a bit. And you've got to be careful with this, because all of a sudden you're in the wrong relationship. All of a sudden you're in the wrong job and you're feeling like you have to force yourself to go to work. And many, many people are experiencing this. And some of the themes have come forward from 2022, but what's different in 2023 is that you can really get stuck in your head if you will not release control. And by that, I mean, if you still think that you're in control of your path, but you have agreed to a spiritual path, you are so wrong. You do not have the kind of control that you think you have. There is something guiding your path that is much bigger than your mind or your thought about where you should go, or sometimes even your wants and desires. There's something bigger at play here, and we are having this massive shift away from religion and away from many organized structures, that we're moving towards a time when people focus more on how things make them feel and what they need for their soul path. So remember that. The veil. So people talk about the veil thinning. I don't even think it really exists anymore. I think it exists more in a protection in our own mind, or a protection that we ask our guides for, or a protection that we've created in our energy field, because we are powerful enough to do that. But you can create your own protection around these kinds of things if this thought that the veil is gone bothers you. But I really think that it's not there. I don't think it's there. In my work, obviously, I talk to spirit all the time, and I feel like I open up a doorway to spirit when I start a reading. And I say, whatever spirit's here to talk to the person in their highest good, please come through and help this person along their path. And I open the door to higher vibrational energies to help support this person, or at least an energy that matches them. Sometimes that door is flinging open and I don't have the ability to open and close completely. And so it's important right now that we're teaching people that spirit's kind of sneaking up on us a little bit. If you've noticed that you're having more activity in your home, or you're seeing more things or hearing more things, this is because our vibration has raised to the point where it's like we're overlapping with that dimensional energy of spirit. So sometimes we dip in, it's almost like you dip your toe into the spirit world and there's things coming forward. So if you're hearing more voices or sounds or seeing more things that you can't explain, that's why. And it's not a scary thing. We have to look at the other dimensions as different vibrational presentations. So it's not scary. It's more to understand that something is coming forward to you in a different way than you would expect, or it's something that you don't quite understand. But that's where this observer piece comes in. We have to observe and question what's happening, because if you can pull yourself back from it, if you're not engaged in that moment, like right in it, if you can pull yourself back and observe and ask questions, that's the best thing you can do. It's like almost like you're a scientist to the experience and you're gathering data and notes. And of course there's feelings involved because we're human, but I want you to try to discern what you want to engage your feelings in. Okay? And don't beat yourself up if it doesn't always work, because we are human. Okay, so part of the shift is being very teachable. And what I mean by that is understanding that you don't know everything. And this is a hard one for a lot of people, because if you've studied something for a long time, if you've been interested in something for a long time, if you have a lot of experience in an area, this may be hard for you, but there is so much that we don't know. And you really have to surrender to this process. I don't think it's smart to get into an unhealthy form of questioning right now. That's why in my recent newsletter I mentioned be careful not to fall down the rabbit hole, but we still need to dip our toe. We still need to entertain some different ideas, because 2023 is like innovation. So it's like our preparation time for major discoveries and innovation and changes and problem solving that we so need. We so need solutions right now. If you look back in history books, this is something that always gets me. If you read people's journals during difficult times, so any war, you pick any war, the Holocaust, pick any time in history that you can read, even medieval times, people will always say these are hard times. Let's just say every time is a hard time. And if we look at the scale of how dangerous things were, like I said, even in medieval times, and if we look at how dangerous things were for people and how their survival was so precarious, we actually live in a very safe time. And so I want you to remember that humans have come a long way and we have figured a lot of things out, and that we do live in a much safer time than the past. And yes, change is hard, but we have lots of change, and that's life. We have to understand that change is all around us all the time, and that is the surrender piece. If you've signed up for a spiritual path and you haven't been able to surrender control over that path, you will feel very directionless. You will feel very lost right now. It's time for you to understand that you don't always have to know exactly where you're going. And sometimes, if you can think about a time when maybe you've traveled or you've been on a trip, sometimes the best things happen when you don't plan anything. You just move through it, spontaneously picking a cafe, spontaneously picking a hike, spontaneously picking a place to drive to, a view, a vista. These things happen on a spontaneous level because we don't even realize we're allowing our inner self or our intuition or our spirit self to guide us to the destination. But our human self can have a very hard time with that because we do feel out of control. But if you've signed up for a spiritual path, I'm saying it again, there's a calling that has to be answered. And it should have been really looked at in 2022, but if you ignored the call, now it's going to come very hard, very fast and furious. Inner child work, super important, because we need to remember that there's miracles and magic happening all around us, and that it does help with that curiosity. It does help with that, ooh, I've never experienced that before, I should try that. Instead of, oh, I don't know if it's safe, it might be too late, do I have to drive in the dark? Instead of thinking about all the reasons why we shouldn't do things, sometimes we just need to experience the things that we are curious about and that we want to. And the inner child work's important too, because there's a lot of healing there still, but it's about the joy. Where's the joy in your life? And try to bring that out, because we are going to be so drawn inward in 2023. It will be really important that you remember there are people around you you need to connect to, and that there's people around you that can help you too, that you don't have to do this alone. So part of this too, which this is a little scary, I think, for anybody to think that people in their life might drop away. And if you've been on a spiritual path for a while, this has probably already been happening to you, where people have dropped away in your life and you don't quite understand what's happened, or the universe kind of removes them in a very dramatic way. This is happening differently because I feel like it's happening very quickly without a lot of time to let us process. So although we still have grief and we're still trying to heal, it's like this is very fast. So if things aren't matching your vibration this year, you will notice things change very rapidly, and it will be difficult. It's like sort of like hang on to your hats, like hang on to your seat. It's very fast moving. Um, I would like to talk a little bit about this because this goes with this healing piece that happens when toxicity is removed from your life. And this may have been a major player in your life. This may have been a spouse or maybe a best friend or a sibling or a parent. So the potential for us to heal right now is massive. It's so quick too. You have to get to the place where you do release it, you surrender to it, and you go, okay, well, I guess this is the best thing for me. And you can take your power back by thanking the person for being in your life, for teaching you the things they did, whether they taught you in a way that it's things you would want to do or not want to do in the future. So I think there's a gratitude and a thanking to take your power back, that surrender to the process, all that those things have to happen. And then the actual release. Sometimes for release, I actually like to visualize. I like to have a visualization that helps me release. And so you may see the face of that person on a balloon and watch the balloon, a helium balloon, or for instance, watch it float away. You might visualize them sitting in a small boat and you untie the rope from the kind of the dock and watch them to float away and say goodbye. You're not saying goodbye to the person necessarily in that way, just the experiences you've had with them. There's many things you can do to do this. And the healing that is happening is so quick. It's so fast. Like, it's like a zing, as soon as you're in the right place, it'll happen. It'll happen very quickly. And it's very rewarding time to be doing healing work. I also want to say that the manifestation is happening really fast. So be careful what you're thinking about and be careful what you're manifesting, because on this higher vibration, it's like, well, I would like a new job and this is what I would like to do. And before you know it, you're applying for the program to learn how to do that job. You're back in school, or you're already online, sending your resume. Things are happening so quickly. And then we're hearing quickly about news, about things that we've manifested, and things are showing up quite fast. So just be careful what you're manifesting there. Some of the questions that are going to come forward that are really going to get people this year that have changed the way that they are thinking with things is who am I? So there's been a lot of things that have shook up our idea of who we are. It's really important right now, like I said, think about that storm, everything blowing around, okay? We want to make sure that you're anchored, and your anchors are going to be how you decide how you want to present yourself to the world and to yourself. How do you want to show up for yourself? So that who am I question is really important. It's really important for you to sit and answer that question. Do not be afraid of your own mind. We have given our power away to so many things. This is going to be another issue, is what is your higher power? And higher power can be many things. If your higher power is something that is not healthy, you could end up in an addiction pattern. So do you make a priority? Is it watching TV? Would you do anything just to take that time to watch TV and ignore what else is going on, and maybe positive things sometimes? Is your higher power things? So are you trying to accumulate and get more things to fill that hole inside of you, which that's exactly where you need to work. If you feel like you're filling up with things, you have to work on that. What is that? Why do I do that? Why is that behavior happening? Destructive behaviors come from a place of pain, but they also come from a place where you are, it's like you are giving away your power because you're afraid of your own power and control. So time to take that control back, time to take that power back, that inner power. And this is like a planning year. 2023 is like a planning year. I do feel everything could like really explode in 2024 as far as what you've planned and how hard you've worked on yourself in 2023 will really, really, really come to show you, give you the benefit, give you the rewards in 2024. And you're going to get little like breadcrumbs through 2023, absolutely. But it is a very introspective year. Okay, so keep that in mind. So what is your higher power? I want you to ask yourself. I want you to figure that out, good or bad. You know, is your higher power your higher self? Do you listen to your higher self? If it is, that's a great place to start. But if you're in a place where alcohol has become your higher power, or for some people it's like extreme sports, or it's reading, or it's computers, or it's their phone. That's a big one. What are you giving your power to, and why? And is it a good influence? Is it a good thing in your life, or is it not? Spirituality. This is a big one this year. Okay, so everybody's going to be wondering, how am I spiritual? What is my form of spirituality? How does it fit into my life? Am I spiritual? Am I not? What is spirituality? So for me, spirituality is really knowing that you have a divine purpose and power. But the spirituality that I like to practice is knowing who I am, knowing what I want to do by listening to my heart, knowing what I came here to do. And I don't think those things come to you easily. I think spirituality has to be about the process. So I'm still learning. So although I know what I might be doing today and tomorrow and next month, I'm in a place of learning. I'm a student, and I'm allowing the universe to teach me and show me the path. Because you will not be given things until the time is right. There's a divine timing in everything, and you can't force that process. So if you're confused and you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where to go, and this may have come on for many reasons right now, you may have had challenges that have led you to this place. Take a deep breath and relax, because the not knowing is an experience in itself, and you will come through it, but you can't force it. If there's no answer coming, then you're meant to be in that place of questioning, because there's more forming, there's more recalibrating, there's more balancing, there's more information gathering that has to happen. And you're being probably told to rest. And if you're grieving, to allow the process to happen. Many of us don't emotionally process. We don't take the time to process emotions. Many of us are afraid of our own emotions and our thoughts and feelings. So you're being asked in 2023 to have in your schedule time that's just for you, for balance and for peace and for self-discovery with curiosity, sort of like a mixture of a child and a scientist. You want to observe this, but you want healthy, interested curiosity in what's happening, and not to engage your energy in too many things. This is about a very singular kind of thought process. Allow yourself to think something through, one thing at a time, instead of bombarding yourself and going, oh my God, I have all this healing to do this year. That's not what 2023 is about. It's about patience with self. It's about deciding that you do not have to engage your energy in everything that comes into your awareness. If it doesn't feel right, it needs to exit your awareness. The only way for it to exit your awareness is to not pay attention to every single thing. The important things will make themselves known. The things that aren't important, like outside of your circle, outside of your normal everyday things, those things that are just little blips, please be careful not to invest energy that you so precious energy that you so much need right now. I love you. I am excited about 2023. I look forward to giving you some more detailed energy forecasts each month. It has been a challenging year for me as well, but I feel much better. I feel much stronger, and I feel like we're ready. We're ready for 2023 in a way that I may not have been ready if I didn't take the time for myself. So take time for you when you need it, and it's unapologetic. Just do it. You know, I think about the ocean. The ocean doesn't apologize. The ocean is what it is. It's smooth or it's rough. It's cold or it's warm. It's got a strong current. It doesn't apologize. It moves where it wants to move. It makes the beach different every day, and it's okay. It's okay. Again, 2023, inner reflection, big manifesting abilities, big healing abilities, and your spiritual path is opening up to you. So it's time to move on that path and trust your heart. Bye for now.